humans, how are you? I hope you're doing great. I hope you're doing good. And if you're not, I hope this video might lift you up a little bit, maybe motivate you, maybe inspire you, and if not, maybe entertain you and distract you for a little bit. It's all I can ask for. So today I bring you this painting, which if you are not new to this channel and you've been around, you know I've been working on a 20 paintings collection, and this painting right here will be the 9th out of 20 paintings. And things changed. So when I started this 20 painting collection, I was studying and looking into how to actually make money with my art and all this effort I've been putting into it, and how to get into the gallery world and all those business side of this whole endeavor. And I've been in galleries before. I had 2 gallery shows in New York City, but I actually have no idea how I did that. It was not intentional. This 20 painting collection is being made with the intention and the goal of getting and seeking for gallery representation. So it's very different this time around. And what I found to be the most common and maybe the most relevant advice was that you needed a big, between 12 to 30 maybe paintings, body work. It was a classic name they would give it, that was cohesive. Cohesive is an adjective that is very relative, I guess, but I've been to gallery shows before. I see also even in like on Instagram and on social media and internet, etc., the artists that are doing well financially with their work, and the cohesiveness of their work is pretty much like a very slight variation from a one painting or one painting style. Like it's almost like going into Mid-Journey and ask AI to make a variation of one of the images, and it gives you literally just like other images that have the exact same essence from the quote-unquote original one. So that's exactly what I wanted to do too, for my art to be clearly a family, like all the paintings to be twins from each other. So that would not come natural to me, and I think it will not come natural to most artists, and yet we seek that artist style, personal style, artist voice, whatever you want to call it, because it's the most common advice. Yeah, you can develop it, but you really don't know how. There's no like prescription for it. So we get frustrated. We want to be successful, and that's when we kind of push it. And that's what I was doing. I defined what this 20 painting collection was going to be about. I defined the subject. I defined the style, the surface I was going to work in, the materials I was going to use. I even made digitally 20 or even more than 20 just to pick from references I would work from. And yes, this art is very genuine and authentic to me. Like there were subtitles that something I've always aesthetically loved for some reason, with pieces of my journal that could not be more personal and meaningful to me, with like pieces of sculptures and Renaissance paintings that are the thing I love the most in the world, and a color palette that I came to through experience and also through studying graphic design and falling in love with it while doing work, and a painting way that I came to too. And I don't know, it was like, it wasn't arbitrary. It wasn't just like, I'm gonna make paintings of known brands and I don't know, Disney characters and stuff like that, because that's what sells and that's gonna be my style, and I'm gonna make it cohesive and I'm gonna sell. It wasn't that of I want to be commercial. It was more of like, I want my art to do good. So it's definitely going to be something meaningful and authentic to me, yet it's gonna be cohesive and following kind of what the world asks from you, so that someone can see my painting and know it's mine without checking out the signature. That's the whole point, right? That's what they end up telling you, or the conclusion you end up arriving to, like, oh, that's a Dali, of course, or that's a Monet, or that's a la la la, that's a Hojas. Anyways, so that was what I was after. And at first it was amazing because it was like I did all the hard work even before starting. So that is kind of the painting part is the fun part. It's just like the sitting down and just colors and paintbrush and fun. But defining the composition, what you want to say, the digging into your feelings and thoughts to figure out what to do, that's kind of the hardest part and most important. In my humble opinion, it might be very different for other type of artists or people, I don't know. It is for me. It is what I find meaningful in my work anyways, or most meaningful. And that was all out of the way for 20 paintings. I literally just had to buy the same canvas, which is a wood panel, in my case, a 30 by 40 inches wood panel, which by the way fits perfectly to Instagram and phone proportions, which is where people are going to check out your portfolio and are big enough to sell for the amount of money galleries are interested in. So I did not leave that part to chance either. Then I just had to sit to paint, and the first two paintings were amazing because it was just fun. Then the third and fourth, it wasn't that fun anymore because during the first two, ideas were coming up and even questions like, what if I would change this color? What if I would try this? What if I would do that? And I would have to ignore it because I need to stay cohesive. So the third and fourth, I was already building up frustration for not listening to my creative voice, my inner voice. And then during those two, I still made a breakthrough because I started to kind of develop and dominate my own technique in a way that I wasn't expecting and I was very happy with. But then I didn't see enough of a challenge in the fifth one or a fulfilling thing to do. And that's when I feel like an artist dies, I guess. If you're not using your creativity for your creative artistic endeavor, I guess you're just something else. Or that was at least the excuse I used to decide to change. So for the painting before to this one, I already decided I stuck to it way longer, by the way, to the 8th painting, because I'm a very determined and I have a lot of willpower person. So it was just until painting before to this one that I was like, what if I just use the same colors? I just changed the values so they're in a different order because I really want to try to see how that looks and it's going to be still cohesive. And I had so much fun and I feel like it was a huge breakthrough, and I feel like I found stuff that I loved and stuff that I don't, stuff that I will stick to and stuff that I will trash and not do again. And I remembered what was this all about in the first place, evolving, improving, trying things, playing, communicating, passion, all those things. So for the 8th painting, I decided to take it a step further and answer more of those questions I had inside. What if I use writing in a very different way and a more genuine way to me? Because even though I love vintage subtitles aesthetically, what I really do is journal in my very old from me, since I was a child, cursive that everyone seems to not understand how I write that way or how I write that much, and that I love doing it. What if I included that instead? And what if now the sculptures are not an actual known sculpture that people may recognize and be familiarized with and therefore like more, but it's just something surrealist and I loved painting smokers and I love painting sculptures. What if it was a Renaissance sculptor smoking this time? What if it had a gold frame like those I love? What if I just answered to, what if I changed the colors yet again? What if I use my technique in a more excessive way instead of just transitioning with these dashes? What if it's all over, just full of it? And if you look from close, it will look like an abstract painting, and then if you walk and have distance from it, it will make sense. What if? And that's what this painting was all about. And I think it's very ironic, I guess, because I do still believe and understand actually why, from a marketing perspective, the cohesiveness of an artist's work is very important, and having a voice. Yet that voice, I don't think you can force it, but it won't be fulfilling and it won't be worthwhile if you do it that way. even if it is successful at doing so, at least it wouldn't be for me. I wouldn't be happy with it. If you can, then I envy that. I also envy artists who are fixated and passionate about such a niched down like subject or color or whatever, and they actually crave to do that same thing for their whole lives. Like, that's what they want to do. I also envy that. But I think for most of us, it won't go that way. What you actually have to do, if you want to actually find or more so develop that voice, is to actually not try to. Like, you just have to be what you are. You're an artist because you can't be any other thing. You cannot stop yourself from being it. It's mostly painful, but you just can't give it up. So use what that calls for, which is mostly experimenting and trying things and doing stuff that you think is beautiful, or try to, and say all these things you have in your head to the world, make it into images, or if you're a writer or something else, whatever, it's your medium, and keep trying without having that intention behind, which might not be very sustainable financially at first. But if you give yourself the space and time to do so, I think it will end up being faster and more successful, because you experiment and try, and you realize very quickly what are those things that you love and you want to keep doing, and which ones didn't work. And each painting or each work you do will bring yet another variation or question or thing that you could modify or whatever, and then you will end up with a work that is very, very, very you, that no one that didn't follow that path could do, at least not genuinely, because there's only one you, with your tastes, with your things that you tried, with your references, with your everything. And that's when you actually find it. And the experimentation phase might be very long, but I don't know. I'll give the example of my paintings now and what I'm still experimentation phase. I am not in my style yet, but I think you can start seeing what my style, voice, aesthetic, message stuff, well, it's starting to show through just by me letting it. Like, purple chose me. That was a life thing. And then because I started the artistic path after engineering and marketing with graphic design, I fell in love and I found very cool the kind of like editing photos and making compositions using kind of like not real colors but palette that you would choose, and if you would put it in the right values it would still make sense at the end, but you could just choose a set of colors and make something that still can look figurative and realistic volume wise. So I kept that and the purple. I'm changing the position of the purple, if it's the mid value, the lightest value, the highlights, the deep color. I've been playing with that too. Then my painting style of the dashes came to be when I was painting. I already wanted to be more impressionistic, so I was working on having more expressive brush strokes. And I was doing that, and I think it was like my third painting doing that. And I was painting these, maybe you know this painting, this woman that has a clock instead of a head that says in each time where it should be a number, it says now. And she was wearing like towel joggers, like that fabric that it's almost like a towel. And I didn't know how to do expressionistic brush strokes that would communicate that texture without being detailed. It's like doing hair. And I just started dashing with the brush stroke. And I ended up having a lot of fun doing those pants. And I felt like my brush was kind of like stepping, like walking and leaving footprints all over. And I just thought that was the most beautiful, poetic and fun thing ever. And I went back and started adding more of those dashes to the rest of the painting, because this was the last part of it actually, so that I will have my brush walk all over my canvas this time and just let it walk however it would. And that's when I kind of loved that and just started showing more and more through my work. And then I realized for my stippling days, like doing pointillism with my pen, that if I would play with the value of the dashes and the density of them and the color, I could do transitions and mid values and blendings and textures and everything. And I started playing with that. that, of course, from close you just see a lot of dashes, but from far your brain and your sight will blend the dashes with the background and create those mid values, and to make those transitions, if they're like more density, then less, then a darker value, then the other value, you will just see like a gradient with texture, but you will see a gradient. And that's what I've been working with the most. And then, I don't know, just my aesthetic passions about Renaissance stuff. And I went to Europe this year, which was a huge dream of mine, and that inspired a lot of the subjects too. And I don't know, I'm just listening to that inner voice and seeing where it will take me. And this, I guess, is an invitation to you, fellow creatives out there, to not do what I did of forcing it, and invite you to give yourself the time and space. And I know it's harder than it sounds to actually develop it, to let it develop on itself, and to play around and modify little by little, and piece by piece see your own voice and style start to show through. And yeah, I guess I've been talking for way too long, ranting, and I don't know if this made much sense of this, or if this will help anyone. I guess, I hope at least you can understand me or where I come from. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, this painting, if you're interested in, the original is available in my Etsy shop. The link to that is in the description below. And I have some prints and merch also available in the description below, but in my Redbubble shop, not Etsy. So you can see stickers and fun stuff there. And yeah, that's it. So if you want to see the 10th painting that I'm about to start now, just subscribe to my channel. And yeah, that's it from me. Have a great rest of your day, humans. Bye.